While your competitors are all copying each other's ads and fighting over the same exhausted angles, there's a creative goldmine sitting right under their noses that they'll never discover. And it's the reason some brands can scale to $1 million plus monthly ad spend while others get stuck burning money on saturated creative. I'm about to show you the 4 secret sources where winning angles actually come from, why the brands that find them first dominate entire markets. My name is Mason Littlejohn, and over the past 10 years, I've spent over $330 million on meta ads and driven over $1.7 billion in meta ads attributable revenue. I've scaled 50 plus brands to 7-figure months, and the difference between the ones that explode and the ones that plateau always comes down to one thing: where they find their creative angles. The brands stuck at 50K months are all looking in the same place. Brands that scaled $1 million months, they're looking where nobody else is. Here's what's happening in your ad account right now that's killing your scale. You're spending hours every week stalking your competitors' ads, screenshotting their creative. You're trying to reverse engineer their hooks and angles. You think you're being smart, but here's the brutal truth. So is everyone else in your industry. You're all fighting over the same 10 to 15 angles that have been recycled and beaten to death. Your cost per clicks are going up because you're bidding against 5 other brands using the exact same creative approach. Your audiences are getting fatigued because they've seen variations of your ad from 3 different companies this week. Worst of all, you're stuck in this creative prison where every new idea is just a slight variation of what everyone else is already doing. Meanwhile, there are brands in your exact same industry selling similar products at similar price points who are getting sub $1 cost per clicks while you're paying $5 plus. They're building massive email lists with low CPAs while you're struggling to get profitable acquisition costs. They're scaling their budgets while you're hitting walls at 30K monthly ad spend. What's the difference? They found angles that nobody else is using. Angles that are psychologically proven to work, but completely fresh to your market. The biggest lie in digital marketing is that you need to study your competitors to find winning creative. That's backwards thinking. Your competitors are the worst source of inspiration because they're all looking at each other. It's an echo chamber of mediocrity. The real creative gold mines are hiding in plain sight, but 99% of advertisers are too lazy to look for them. I'm talking about sources with decades of proven psychological triggers that have never been adapted to your industry. I'm talking about viral content from completely different markets that use the same exact customer psychology as your audience. I'm talking about international markets where your exact product is being sold with angles you've never seen before. The brands that scaled $1 million months aren't just better at execution, they're better at finding creative inspiration from places their competitors would never think to look. Let me show you the first secret source that's been sitting right in front of you: print magazines. I know what you're thinking. Print is dead. Nobody reads magazines anymore. That's exactly why this works. Every digital marketer thinks the same thing, so nobody's looking there for inspiration. But here's what they're missing. Print advertising has 100 plus years of proven psychological triggers. These magazines have spent decades perfecting the art of grabbing attention and driving action. Vogue and GQ have mastered luxury positioning and aspirational messaging. Architectural Digest knows how to sell premium lifestyle better than any Facebook ad you've ever seen. Industry publications have been split testing headlines and value propositions since before the internet existed. And the best part? Zero competition. While your competitors are all copying each other's video ads, you're adapting messaging frameworks that have been proven to work for decades but have never been used in digital campaigns. I'm talking about slogans that stop people in their tracks, visual compositions that command attention, value propositions that create instant desire. Take these proven psychological triggers, adapt them to your product, and watch your cost per click and CPA drop while your competitors wonder what happened. The second secret source is even more powerful: viral content from completely different industries. Here's something most advertisers don't understand. Human psychology is universal. The emotional triggers that make someone click on a fitness ad are the same triggers that make someone click on a fashion ad or a home goods ad. But each industry develops its own creative bubble. Fitness brands copy fitness brands. Fashion brands copy fashion brands. Nobody's looking across industries to find the psychological patterns that actually drive behavior. This is where the real magic happens. You find a video that's going viral in the pet industry, you identify the psychological trigger, maybe it's a transformation, maybe it's social proof, maybe it's fear of missing out. Then you adapt that exact trigger to your skincare brand. Your audience has never seen that angle applied to skincare before. It's psychologically proven to work, but completely fresh to your market. I use tools like Foreplay to bookmark winning ads from sectors that have nothing to do with my clients' industries. Then I reverse engineer the psychological patterns and adapt them. The result? Creative angles that feel completely original to your audience, but are actually based on proven psychological triggers from other markets. Now, here's where most people use the meta ad library completely wrong. They search for their direct competitors and try to copy what they're doing. That's the worst possible approach. Instead, you want to study different industries that target similar demographics to your customer. If you're selling premium skincare to affluent women, don't look at other skincare brands. Look at luxury fashion brands, high-end home goods, premium wellness products, anything that targets affluent women but isn't your direct competition. You're going to get proven ad formats and messaging that work for your exact audience, but without the saturation of your competitive space. Even better, look at international markets. Your exact product category might be thriving in Australia or the UK, with angles that have never been used in the US market. Or study adjacent industries with overlapping audiences. If you sell fitness supplements, look at athletic wear brands, gym equipment companies, meal prep services. They're targeting the same people with different products, so their winning angles can be adapted to your offers. This gives you a massive competitive advantage because you're using proven creative approaches that your direct competitors have never used before. The fourth secret source is the most overlooked: using AI to discover customer segments you never considered. Most brands get tunnel vision on their primary customer profile. They create all their content for one type of person and wonder why they hit scaling wall. But here's the breakthrough. Your product probably appeals to multiple customer types for completely different reasons. I use this simple prompt with AI. My ideal customer profile for X product is X description. What would be the second best customer profile for my product? The results are mind-blowing. You discover customer segments with totally different motivations, different pain points, different psychological triggers. Now let me give you a real example. Ruggable, who I scaled to over $500 million a year, started by targeting dog owners with washable rugs. This was their #1 primary customer profile, and it worked great until it didn't. When that audience got saturated and expensive, instead of just spending more money, we identified ancillary customer profiles. Customers who were eco-friendly, customers who were cost-conscious, and customers who were clean freaks and wanted clean houses. Customer profiles who shared similar characteristics, some were even still dog owners, but had completely different psychological entry points. Boom, massive new low-hanging fruit because they hadn't marketed to these specific motivations before. Here's exactly how to implement this system. Phase 1, exhaust your primary customer profile. Scale your #1 ideal customer until the sophistication requirements become too complex and too expensive. Phase 2, identify ancillary customer profiles. Find customers one to the left and one to the right of your primary customer profile. Same people, different motivations. Phase 3, new angle discovery. Create content focused on these ancillary motivations while maintaining product relevance. Phase 4, scale new customer profiles. Repeat the process with fresh audiences and untapped psychological triggers. This isn't a one-time exercise. This is a systematic approach to creative development that gives you unlimited angle discovery. Now here's your weekly research routine. Review 3 to 5 print magazines outside your industry. Look for messaging frameworks, visual compositions, and value propositions that you can adapt. Next, bookmark 10 viral posts from different niches. Identify the psychological triggers driving engagement. Figure out how to apply them to your market. Then use AI to generate 2 new customer profile possibilities. Find new psychological entry points to the same profitable audiences. Then test 1 ancillary angle in your creative rotation. Don't just theorize, actually implement and measure results. And make sure to do monthly deep dives. Analyze cross-industry successful campaigns, identify universal psychological triggers, and map customer journey motivations beyond your primary customer profile. This systematic approach to creative research will give you more winning angles than you know what to do with. Here's why this framework destroys competitor copying. Everyone's looking at the same content, you get saturated angle competition. No differentiation, no innovation, limited to current market thinking. But when you're pulling inspiration from print media, cross-industry viral content, international markets, and AI-generated customer insights, you get unique angle discovery that your competitors will never find. You get psychological trigger identification that's proven to work but completely fresh to your market. You get unlimited customer profile expansion instead of fighting over the same exhausted audiences. Now look, most advertisers are lazy. They want to copy what's already working instead of doing the research to find what could actually work better. That's why they stay stuck fighting over the scraps while the smart brands dominate entire markets with angles nobody else has thought to look for. If you're serious about scaling past the creative walls that stop most brands at 50K months, if you want access to the systematic creative research process that's helped me scale 50 plus brands to 7-figure months, the link to my mentorship is in the description. But understand, this isn't for brands looking for quick creative hacks. This is for advertisers who want to build a sustainable competitive advantage through systematic angle discovery. Stop copying your competitors, start finding angles that they'll never discover. I'm Littlejohn, and I'll see you in the next video.